In Proverbs 8 and verse 20, wisdom says, I walk in the way of righteousness in the midst of the paths of justice. Therefore, those who follow after wisdom will learn to appreciate and practice justice. In contrast, Solomon says that evil men do not understand justice in Proverbs 28 and verse 5. And if we wish to be wise, then, unlike the unevel men, we must understand justice. But how is it that we deal justly with others? Well, this is the most basic and common application of justice, and we find several passages in Proverbs that speak of this. Solomon writes that the thoughts of the righteous are just, but the counsels of the wicked are deceitful, Proverbs 12 and verse 5. For one to truly deal justly with others, it requires a sense of justice that is not superficial, but that comes from the heart as an integral part of his character. Remember what Solomon says, watch over your heart with all diligence, for from it flow the springs of life, Proverbs 4 and verse 23. If we are to deal justly with others, then our thoughts must be just. Solomon writes in Proverbs 21 and verse 15 that the exercise of justice is joy for the righteous, but is terror to the workers of iniquity. Those who are righteous will rejoice when justice is carried out, but in contrast, this same exercising of justice will be a terror or a destruction to those workers of iniquity. But why is this? It is just for sin to be punished and for righteousness to be rewarded. We then read that the righteous is concerned for the rights of the poor. The wicked does not understand such concern, Proverbs 29 and verse 7. The phrase found here, rights of the poor, refers to the application of justice, that the poor will be treated fairly. Often those who are wealthy are able to manipulate the justice system to their advantage. But Solomon is very clear. To show partiality to the wicked is not good, nor to thrust aside the righteous in judgment. In order for justice to be carried out, the wealthy must have no advantage over the poor. However, the poor are not to be given special treatment either, as this is also a perversion of justice. The law of Moses was very clear about this. After telling the people not to pervert justice, God adds, nor shall you be partial to a poor man in his dispute, Exodus 23, verses 2 and 3. For justice to be carried out, all men must be treated impartially as equals. Solomon goes on to say, do not move the ancient boundary which your fathers have set, Proverbs 22 and verse 28. And then he also says in the next chapter, Proverbs 23, verses 10 and 11, do not move the ancient boundary, or go into the fields of the fatherless, for their Redeemer is strong. He will plead their case against you. Brethren have often used the prohibition of moving these ancient landmarks to make the point that we should not try to change what God has revealed to us. And this is certainly an important warning. But these passages, rather than containing warnings about our need to hold fast to the instructions which God has revealed to us, are about dealing justly with others. The ancient boundary would have been a marker to indicate the border of one's property. When one moved these markers, he was essentially stealing land from his neighbor. And such stealing was obviously condemned, as we read in Exodus 20 and verse 15. But the wise man has a specific circumstance in mind in the second passage that I shared with you, moving the boundaries to take land from the fatherless. These orphans would have no one to stand up for them, and it's also likely that they would have not even been aware that land was being taken from them. The point, then, is that we should not take advantage of others, even those who are powerless to stop us, or who are unaware of the injustice that is being done to them. Friends, we want to thank you for joining us for our program today, and have a blessed day.